I'm here at St. Stephen's Catholic Church in Portland, Oregon, and today is the 8th day in the Novena to St. Joseph. And we turn now to chapter 13 of The Miracle of the Mountain, the story of Brother André and the Shrine on Mount Royal by Alden, published in 1959 by Hawthorne Books. Right? Hawthorne, yes. Chapter 13 is entitled, And Great Joy. And here's the picture. If Brother André continued to have severe ordeals, he also had great moments of joy, or moments of great joy. One of these was the celebration at the oratory in 1925 of his 80th birthday. At the same time, Father Dion celebrated his golden anniversary in the priesthood, and Father Clément his 25th. People began climbing the stairs to the oratory, many of them on their knees, as early as 6 o'clock that morning. By 8:30, 25,000 people were packed solidly on the terraces and the roof of the crypt. At 9, His Excellency M.F. Fallon, Bishop of London, celebrated the Mass. Then Father Edouard Laurin, CSC, for the Congregation for Holy Cross, spoke in the name of the community, saying, "These are the three artisans, ardent and indefatigable, of the cult of Saint Joseph. Always we found them standing in the breach with neither pride nor weakness. They possess a treasure of piety, penitence, and zeal, and their virtues bring down upon all of us who know them benedictions from on high. Long may they live for our joy and the greater glory of God." These are the wishes which we formulate here at the feet of Saint Joseph. Afterward, the three religious had their photographs taken together. Usually, Brother André was very shy of photographers, and when forced to pose for them, he wore a pained expression. But this once, standing next to his superior and his priest, who were also his dear friends, he wore a broad grin. A gala dinner was served in the presbytery at noon, and there is no record of the menu, but one may hope that for once the little brother had a sumptuous repast. He spent the rest of the day in his office receiving his unhappy visitors. Another sort of feast or fête in which Brother André took great pleasure was the annual pilgrimage of the Catholic Workers' Syndicates in September. Ever since his own youthful days of hard labor, the little brother had had an especial softness in his heart for men who worked with their hands. And was not St. Joseph their patron saint, because he had been one of them? These pilgrimages grew to great proportions, even as early as 1922. Brother André had the happiness of seeing 20,000 Catholic workers climbing the mountain singing in the November dusk. Their progress was marked by flaring torches and thousands upon thousands of candles shielded in transparent, lily-like holders which lighted their earnest faces. The most joyous thing that ever happened to Brother André is described in the testimony of several witnesses, among them Father Bergeron. "I can say that I learned from Father Émile de Guire the following fact. On the 28th of September 1931, Brother André had gone to bed in his room at the oratory. As he lay there, his eyes were struck by the sight of a luminous heart, which he believed to be that of our Lord Jesus Christ. A few moments later, he saw the Virgin carrying the infant Jesus in her arms. She advanced toward Brother André, who rose from his bed, saying, 'My mother, my good mother.' The next day, Brother André reported the fact to Father de Guire, who embodied it in a signed document." Well, the next year, or the year 1929, was significant for the oratory. Over 2 million pilgrims and visitors climbed the mountain. On November 19th, the 25th anniversary of the founding of the oratory was celebrated. Despite his 91 years of age, Father Louis Geoffrion, who had celebrated the first Mass in the primitive chapel, insisted on coming out of retirement to say Mass at 6:30. He was assisted by Brother André, who was 84 years old. At the same time, Father Benjamin Le Cavalier, who, as superior of the College of Notre Dame in 1904, had encouraged Brother André's work, celebrated the Mass in the first chapel. His assistant was that good workman who had built the primitive shrine, Brother Abundius. Afterward, the pontifical Mass was chanted by Cardinal R.M. Rouleau, Archbishop of Quebec. And in 1930 came the Great Depression, which diminished the stream of pilgrims for a while and slowed the work of the basilica. During those years of material misfortune, Brother André was busier than ever, doing what he could to alleviate individual misery. However, to those who were not actually in dire distress, he usually said, "Money is nothing. You ought to be worrying about your soul. You might lose it as well." Well, despite the difficulties of the times, Brother André was never happier, for he was encouraged on all sides. In 1926, Father Roy had been elevated to be assistant to the Superior General of the Holy Cross, and his place at the oratory had been taken by Father Clément. Thus, the priest who had once been blind, too blind to read his breviary, was now the superior of a great and growing organization for the promotion of the faith and the cult of St. Joseph. In those last years, the cures came ever more frequently. Even some of Brother André's old antagonists, the doctors of Montreal, ceased to plague him and went so far as to encourage his visits to their patients. They began to testify to his cures and even called on him to help them in distress. Dr. Lamy testified, "To my knowledge, Brother André operated some extraordinary cures." Well, one evening, Dr. Dufresne was very disturbed about the condition of his wife and telephoned Brother André. He told Brother André that Madame Dufresne had not slept for a long time. Brother André responded on the telephone to Dr. Dufresne, "Your wife is asleep now." The doctor interrupted the conversation to go and check on the state of his wife. He found her in deep sleep. This new attitude of the doctors was true of Protestants as well as Catholics. Leopold Lussier says, "In the Catholic hospitals we visited, they held to the letter of the rule about visiting hours. Brother André had to leave with the others at 8:30 in the evening. But the head doctor of one Protestant hospital said, 'That man can come to see my patients at any hour of the day or night.'" As may be seen from this, Brother André did not reserve his ministrations or his cures to Catholics alone. He received and visited people of all faiths, or none. Monsieur Claude testified, "As to heretics, schismatics, and also unbelievers, Brother André treated them with more kindness and sympathy than the Catholics. He wanted to gain the confidence of such people. When the right time came, he talked to them of the goodness of God, of religion, and in answer to question 50, I've already reported how Brother André cured a Protestant in Hawick. The Protestant came voluntarily to see Brother André and had confidence in him. He profited by the visits of Protestants and unbelievers to slide in a good word to them, an evangelical word." On this same subject, Salvatore Marotta, a successful businessman of Montreal, who often drove Brother André, testified. An American from Los Angeles, California, who was suffering from cancer, came to St. Joseph's Oratory. I saw him and talked with him. He was a Freemason and wore the insignia on his lapel. When he presented himself at Brother André's office, the porter saw his Masonic insignia, but let him in anyway. Brother André asked him the reason for his visit, and the American said that he had an intestinal cancer which caused him terrible pain. Brother André advised him to rub himself with St. Joseph's medal and oil, which the sick man did. Immediately after this rubbing, the man returned to see Brother André, telling him with cries of joy that his intestinal pains had disappeared, that he was cured. I do not know if this man showed a desire to be converted. I do know that he was very grateful to Brother André for his cure. The porter remarked to Brother André, "So, you cure Freemasons?" Brother André replied to him, Notice that this man came a long way to St. Joseph's Oratory, that he took 6 days and 6 nights for his journey. His Masonic insignia is nothing but a piece of tin, but there was great confidence in his heart, and this is what matters. Brother André had only 3 illnesses serious enough to keep him from his work. According to Father Cousineau, he suffered from influenza in 1918, acute gastritis in 1931, and pneumonia in 1932. Monsieur Pichette described the beginning of the latter illness. One night I went to his room in the oratory and knocked on the door. There was no answer, but I could hear him breathing heavily with a rasping sound. I knocked again. He opened the door and stood holding himself erect by clinging to the bedpost and the door of his shower. He looked half dead. "You are sick," I said. He nodded feebly, and I said, "Why not come to my house for a good rest?" In a voice that was no more than a whisper, he answered, "I cannot go without permission. Please ask the superior." And then he smiled at me. I went to Father Clément and told him of Brother André's request. "He is too sick to be moved," the superior said. But he smiled when I asked him to come home with me. "If you could make him smile in a state he is in, take him by all means," Father Clément said. So I bundled Brother André up in many blankets and took him to my house. Monsieur Pichet's home was the top floor of a small suburban house. You came up a flight of steep wooden stairs to the kitchen, the sunny, cheerful room where Brother André had so many happy meals. Each room of the apartment contained one or more holy objects or shrines. In the small, stiffly furnished parlor, baby Jesus lay in a wooden cradle. The Virgin in her blue robes with a long jeweled necklace stood on the mantelpiece, and in a corner was St. Joseph, all in white. In another room was a statuette of the Savior, which Brother André had given Monsieur Pichette, and in a central position was a tiny sliver of wood believed to be a relic of the true cross. Brother André was given the best bedroom, where he slept in a big double brass bed. There was a statuette of St. Joseph on a table, and holy pictures on all the walls. 2 big windows looked out on the small garden which he loved so well. The whole apartment was thus redolent of the simple piety of the Pichettes. Brother André felt always very serene and at home in that place. However, on this occasion, he did not recuperate as he usually did, and after a week, Dr. Lamy said he must go to the great hospital called the Hôtel Dieu. He was there for 20 days. According to Father Cousineau's testimony, Sister Le Royer of the Hôtel Dieu affirmed to me that during his illness, Brother André left a truly edifying memory of patience and Christian piety, and of zeal to resume his devotion to St. Joseph. Also, Sister Le Royer told Brother André her troubles, and Brother André recommended that she write them down and place them at the foot of the statue of St. Joseph. She reported to me that Brother André advised her with so much conviction to have recourse to St. Joseph that she felt that her confidence in St. Joseph and her devotion to St. Joseph gained a vital impetus. While at the Hôtel Dieu, Brother André told Monsieur l'Abbé Joseph Nelson Duquette that he had seen on the wall of his room an eye which reminded him of those which one sees on certain holy pictures, from which stream rays of light that illumine the image of the Holy Virgin or St. Joseph. Brother André was greatly moved by this vision, from which he derived the meaning that the more one suffers, the closer one is to God. Monsieur l'Abbé Duquette affirmed this to me with great emotion under oath. The only thing which troubled Brother André's nurses was his refusal to eat proper food. According to Father Cousineau, Sister Le Royer reported to me that during all 3 of Brother André's illnesses, she had great difficulty making him eat. He would accept nothing but wheat flour softened in hot water and seasoned with salt. One day, Sister Le Royer said to him, "But is it glue that you wish?" "Yes," replied Brother André, "it is glue." After he was discharged from the hospital, well but very weak, the superior ordered Brother André to go to the Pichettes for a rest. He stayed a whole month with these devoted friends. At the end of that time, he was completely recovered. On Brother André's 91st birthday, August 9th, 1936, it seemed that the half the world paid tribute to him. Papers all over Canada and the United States carried the news in headlines, and many of them sent reporters to interview him. He was still extraordinarily active, perhaps agile is the exact word. A reporter for the Boston Evening American who interviewed him in his office wrote, "He stands so small, about 5 feet tall, that you can hardly see him over the top of his counter. While I sat in his office talking to him, suddenly, with the quickness of a monkey, he leaped on a chair and from there to a nearby radiator top and was busily winding a grandfather's clock. You'd never believe to see him looking a little bit pleased with himself that he had celebrated his 91st birthday on Sunday." Through the reporters, he sent a message to the people of Canada's great neighbor. "The United States is ever in my prayers. Always I pray for everyone in America. She must have faith, even more faith. When chaos prevails in the world, we, each one of us, are to blame. We are lacking in faith." And then came his final word to the faithful, which held a premonition as well as a message. "Always be prepared to die. We think least of the most important thing that is to happen to us." And there ends chapter 13 and a premonition for our last day of the Novena, which will be tomorrow, the 9th day. Well, it's time now to pray our Novena to St. Joseph, and you can print out a copy of this from the PDF link in the description below the video. You can also click on another link to watch the video and pray along with us here in this beautiful church. Well, let us call to mind our intentions then for this Novena. And you might think about coming here to St. Stephen's for the Feast of St. Joseph in the next couple days. On Tuesday, we have a noon low Mass, and at 7 p.m. we'll have a solemn high Mass, and it'll be very, very beautiful. So, well, God bless you on this penultimate day of the Novena, and we'll see you tomorrow. Don't miss a day of prayer with us.